Hello everyone, today's tutorial is going to be on the African flower. As you can see, you can do so many pretty things with this. I made a pretty dress with this, I'm in the process of making an orange dress. So I'm going to show you how you can do that really simply with this granny square. So here are the materials you'll need. So you are going to need a sewing needle to weave in these little ends. We will be needing, I'm using a size, a 3-millimeter size needle. Depending on the size yarn that you're using, that can change. You're gonna need a pair of scissors. Yarn that I am using today is Yarn Bee Yarntopia, and the colors, they're both the same brand. I've got two different colors here to give it some contrast. Of course, you can use any color you want. And so I'm using Scarlet and Ivory. And this will be a size 2 fine yarn, and it does say 3.25 millimeters, the recommended size. I decided to use a smaller needle for a tighter stitch. So you can go with whatever size is best for you. But I would like a tight stitch on mine, so that's what I'm working with. All right. Okay, to start off, you will begin with a magic circle. So to do that, you can hold the thread in your yarn like so. Wrap it around your fingers, 2 fingers, kind of bring it around like this. And I'm getting a cramp on my finger. So you're going to bring your hook right under the front loop here. You're going to hook to pull this through and lift up, okay? I kind of lost it there. Then once you have that, you can grab hold of your circle here and do 1 crochet, 2. You can tighten it a bit. All right, and then for this, you will need to chain 3. Okay, so far I did a chain 1, 2, 3. Next we will do 1 double crochet here in the loop. That will equal to 2 double crochets, chain 1, and next we're going to work 2 double crochets again. So loop over into the circle, pull through 2, pull through 2. Once again, loop over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, so you're going to do a total group of 2s. You're going to do it a total of 8 times. So I already did 2 groups here. Chain 1 again, 2 double crochets in, another, and then chain 1, and that will be the pattern all around. I'll come back once I have 8 groups of 2. Okay, so here I did 8 groups of 2s, so that's 1, and each one has a gap here of a chain 1. Okay, So it was double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and I did this 8 times around, so I've got 8 groups, and I ended with a chain 1 at this end. So now at this point I can pull this tail here, this string, and that is going to tighten and close our magic ring. And once we did that, now we can go ahead and slip stitch to close, and that will be on the top of our chain 3 here. Slip stitch right here and pull through. You can loop it up here, pull up, and at this point you can cut that. Now, for this magic ring, they tend to open up if you do not secure this end, this tail end. So to do that, pull it tight. Then we're going to get our needle. Okay, so I already threaded my needle off camera, and right here I'm going to just pretty much make a knot right into the circle. So to do that, I'll just pull it through a little bit here. And then I can go ahead through that loop there, pull to make a knot and secure it. Once you made a knot, that's pretty much good enough. You can do it twice if you want, but once should be enough. And at this point, then you can go ahead and weave the rest of the tail in and cut. And that should be good enough to keep that secure, so it won't open. All right. Okay, now for row 2, we're going to go ahead and take our next color. And you can kind of, here's the end of this one. I kind of like to work a little bit more back. So you got the first little gap here. I'll go ahead and skip back one again, and I'll probably begin right here, and that will be fine. And I'll pull and pull this through. And chain, we're going to chain 3 here at this point. I'm taking both strings to kind of weave it in at once, but you can do it however you like. But I'm chaining 3. I'll let go of that little first string there, and then I'm going to, in the same gap here, same space, double crochet. We're going to work a double crochet there. So we're going to enter it in. Okay. That's our first group here. Now in this, what we're going to do next is chain 1, and then we're going to work 2 double crochets in that same space again. Okay. So let's loop over. Pull through. Then again. So this is what your beginning of the flower should look like. So it's going to be chain 3, which is going to act like a double crochet, our first double crochet, then double crochet here, that would be number 2, chain 1, double crochet, double crochet. We're going to now hop over to our next space right here, and we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to work 2 double crochets in that space. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, then we're going to work 2 double crochet again in that same space, 1, 2, 1, 2, there we go. So now you've got the beginning here of this. Okay, so now we worked in 2 groups here, beginning the flower. We need to repeat this into every space, and that should be a total of 8 groups of this, okay? And when we work in this next one, just showing you, because here we have the tail of this one that we left off, I'm going to show you how I'll just work over that. So here's that next space here. And we're going to work 2 double crochets in that space to start off again. So that was 1, 2, space, I'm sorry, chain actually. And then work 2 double crochets again in that same space, working right over that tail. And then we're going to hop over to the next chain space and right over that. One double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, one double crochet, 2 double crochet. And so that is half of the beginning of our flower. I'm going to finish this off camera and meet you at the end. Okay, so here we are at the end of row 2. I ended with my last double crochet, and so now we're going to slip stitch to join on the top of our first chain 3 here. So we'll just go ahead and slip stitch. Okay, now for row 3, we're going to work this cluster here of double crochets into each space. And how that'll work is we're going to actually slip stitch into our first little space here to begin. Once we're there, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to work a double crochet in that same space. That will count as 2 double crochets. Now we need to work 5 more double crochets, giving us a total of 7 double crochets in that space. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that should look like that. And that is our first petal, completed petal. Now we're going to hop over and do the same exact thing here. We're going to work 7 double crochets. So loop over, hop over to this next chain space, and 7 double crochets in that space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And this is what you will do all the way around in each little space here. And so you should have a total of 8 petals. Once you're done, I will meet you once I work my way around off camera. Okay, here we are. So your flower should look like this once you're done. And here I am at the end. Ended off with a our last double crochet. So remember, this is groups of 7 crochets in each little space here. And we're going to close it off with a slip stitch on the top of our chain 3 right here. Slip stitch and chain 1, pull, and we're just going to go ahead and cut that right there. Okay, so now for row 4, we're going to switch back to our ivory or cream color, whichever light color you picked for the next. And we're going to begin, this is where we ended here. So we're going to work over this. So I kind of like to work one back for that, one group back. So we're going to start in our on the top of our first double crochet here. This is the end of that group right here. So we're going to work on the first one here, going through the first braid here, chain, and we're going to pull through, and we're going to work a single crochet in that. So but first we're going to start, of course, with a slip stitch to secure that in. And in that same chain, we're going to work our single crochet. So go back into that same chain, and we're going to work one single crochet. That's our first. Then we're going to work into our next, another single crochet. And we will be working a single crochet all across the top of this petal, leaving us with a total of 7 single crochets. Okay, so it should look like that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to work in this spot right here. We're going to actually work here in this space right here. To do that, we can loop over, go through this, skip this spot, go down, pull through, and leave it very loose. You don't want to tighten it so it doesn't bunch up. Loosely bring that up, and then you should have 3 chains on your loop. You can go ahead and pull through all 3 of those, and that's how that should look. Now we're going to work on 7 single crochets in the next petal, working on top of the first chain 3 here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now once again, we're going to skip down here. So we're going to loop over, enter in, pull through, and lift up loosely, and then pull through all 3. And that's how that should look, as you can see. So now we're going to be repeating this all around. and I will meet you off camera. I'm going to work the rest, and I'll meet you at the end here to show you how we'll end that. Okay, so I worked all the way around and ended with with our 7 single crochets. Now we just need to finish off this last stitch here, working that in between here. So we'll loop over, enter, pull through, and pull through the 3. And then to close out, we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet we started off with. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, row 4. So now for row 5, same color, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work a single crochet into the same exact stitch of our chain 1. So let's enter in here, 1 single crochet into the next, 2, 3, 4. So we worked 4 single crochets. Now we're going to start making the corner of our square. To do that, we will need to now start increasing the size of stitches. So we started off with a single crochet. Our next single crochet, our fifth stitch here, will be a half double crochet. To do that, you'll loop over, enter into the next stitch, pull through. You should have 3 on your hook. Loop over and pull through all 3. Next stitch here, we're going to work a double crochet. To do that, we'll loop over, enter into the next stitch, pull through, and then pull through 2, and then pull through 2 again. Next stitch over, you're going to do work another double crochet, loop over, enter into the next stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2. Now we should be on top of our long stitch here. In this chain, we will work a triple crochet. So to do that, you're going to loop over twice, enter into that next stitch, pull through. You should have 4 on your hook, pull through 2, pull through another 2, and then pull through the last 2. At this point here, now you can chain 2 and work another triple crochet into that same exact stitch for that corner. So you're going to loop twice, enter into that same stitch, pull through, and now you're going to pull through 2, pull through another 2, pull through the last 2, and it should look like that. Now we're going to start working our way down for the other side of that corner. You can already see how it's going to start making a corner here. So now next stitch over here, we're going to work a double crochet. So you're going to loop over once, enter in, pull through 2, and another 2. Double crochet in the next stitch. Since it's the opposite of what we did here, Next will be a half double crochet here. So you'll loop over, enter into the next stitch, and then pull through all 3. And then in the next stitches over here, you're going to work single crochet into every stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now we will repeat this, what we did here, for our next corner. Half double crochet, double crochet, another double crochet, then a triple crochet on top of this one right here. So we'll loop over twice, chain 2, and then we're going to work another triple crochet into that same stitch right here. We'll loop twice, enter into the same chain, and there you got your corner. And now you're going to work the opposite of what you did here. So we're going to work in the next stitch here 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, half double crochet, and then into the next a single crochet. And this is what you will repeat. Now the same, exactly what you did here, you're going to repeat all around. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I worked every corner now, and we are at the end of row 5, and this was our last single crochet, and then we slip stitch into the first single crochet to end this row, and that's how it should look. It's already starting to make our square. Now for the last row, going to chain 1, single crochet into that same space, now of course it depends on how wide you want your square. You can work, your last row could be half double crochet all around. I'm going to be working single crochets all around. So here we are. I'll show you what to do at the corner. So we're working 1 single crochet into each stitch around. Once we get to the corner, we're going to work 2 double crochets into that space, and then one stitch, 1 single crochet into every stitch after that. And that's how we work all the way around. And it gives it a little more, you see how it gives it a little more structure on the edges there. All right, so I'm going to work my way around, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so here I am at the end of our last row, working single crochets all the way around. And basically all we're going to do is close it with a slip stitch at the beginning of where we started on that row, and chain 1, and here is where we can close off, and we have there a completed African flower granny square. Thanks for watching.